So if you want to be depressed during your free time, I highly suggest that you spend that studying for the FE exam. Hello, and welcome to the first installment of How to Survive the FE. When I was getting ready to take the FE personally, I was pretty much doing it by myself. I didn't really have a lot of friends studying with me. I didn't have a lot of external guidance from professors or things like that. And I'm here to provide you some of the things that I learned over the adventures. So this is going to be an X numbered part series. This is going to be the introduction, where I share with you the general tips that I think will point you in the direction to prepare for the FE. That being said, let's just jump right into it. So the first thing that you need to keep in mind is that the FE is going to cost you money. Now, what do I mean money? Right off the bat, the exam fee itself is $175. This does not include things such as additional study materials, which you may have to buy. And if you intend to take part in a FE exam class or a website that gives you resources and solution manuals and things like that to or just practice FE questions. So get that out of your mind that this is going to be cheap. So make it count. You do not want to have to take it twice. So if you're not feeling prepared after a certain time of studying and you've already scheduled the exam, go ahead and cancel that within the time that you can to get a refund on that money, because that is the policy that they have. Second off, I want to let you all know that, especially at Pacific, there is this pressure to take the FE exam before you graduate sometime around your junior year, usually maybe during co-op or something of that nature. Do not at all, please, feel pressured to do so. Everybody is at their own pace, and if you believe that enjoying your co-op or enjoying your free time or focusing on work and school is more beneficial to your health mentally and as well as your ability to perform well as a student, go ahead and wait to take the FE exam. Do not feel pressured at all. And I say this understanding both the university's side, which is they are encouraging you to take it early so that you have a leg up when you're applying for jobs, because not every student has already taken and passed the FE exam once they have graduated. Furthermore, it's harder to study for an exam when you're not in that school learning mindset, and being in the middle of it, of your schooling in your junior year or so, you are very much in the study mode. But that being said, you don't need to know, you don't need to have taken every single class to do well on the FE exam. That being said, one of the things that I think that you need to really get down before you start taking or preparing for the FE is the right environment and mindset. So what do I mean by that? First off, you have to really understand in your brain that you are going to have to put in the work. It's like any other final exam that you've ever taken and prepared for, but tenfold difficulty in some ways, because there's not an official class sometimes having you practice and do all these problems, and the amount of accountability really that you have is going to be predominantly self-imposed. So how do you go about setting up these accountability measures? First off, you can, option one, form a squad. You get your civil engineer friendos together and say, hey, friendo, we have to take the exam in X amount of time. Let's meet up every single day or every other day and study for X amount of time. And really sit down and tell each other that you are not going to be distracting each other and you're going to be studying. So that's not something that really works for you. Okay, perfectly fine. The second method is to pay to take a class or pay a website company to have them teach you the problems that you're going to face, which is, again, totally fine. The mere fact that you're putting in financial capital is a strong incentive for you to actually complete the studying and also then probably pass. Furthermore, you could pay a family member or a friend, and in doing so say, hey, I'm going to give you a significant amount of money If I take and pass the exam, please give it back to me. If not, go ahead and keep that money. So again, another financial incentive for you to actually sit down and practice. Personally, I did the class option. I didn't have very many friends at my time who were taking the exam, so I didn't have a squad to sit down and study with. But what I did is I paid a company a certain X dollars a month to access the things that I needed, which I am now going to tell to you. What do you need? First off, you are going to need the FE Handbook. You will want to get the PDF version of this, not the handout, the printed booklet. You want the PDF version. Why? Because the exam is computer-based, meaning that you will be accessing this handbook on the computer using Control Find and then typing in things like, Hazen Williams or Steele or Dynamics, and just get really familiar with navigating that PDF document as you practice each problem. So first then, speaking of problems, the next thing that you're going to want to have is a large library of relatively recent FE exam problems. So you can access them through the library, both at the university and maybe at your local library, old FE handbook practices. So you have a whole bunch of problems and you just do them over and over and over again until you get the rhythm of how each problem wants to behave. This could cost you money, so again, be prepared for that. And then finally, last but not least, in my opinion, the absolute must-have, must-use calculator for this exam is the TI 36X Pro. Again, real quick, not sponsored by them at all. But I personally love this little calculator. It does a lot of various mathematical operations really well for the price. You can do things such as solving roots for up to a third degree polynomial. You can do finite integration as well as derivation to a certain extent. Additionally, it does matrix math and matrix manipulation, so you get to have these quick little shortcuts so you can spend less time on problems that are not as important. Furthermore, it does not have batteries. It is solar powered. And lastly, it is FE exam legal, so far as I am aware. Again, go ahead and check the website again to make sure that it is. You don't want to be practicing on a calculator that is not familiar to you, and because it's not legal, I would suggest getting 2 of these guys, one to have on your person, and 2 to just have just in case one of them breaks. Furthermore, if you see another person with you and they have forgotten their calculator for some strange reason, you can loan them yours. All good things. So that's really my thoughts on the initial things that you should bear in mind when getting ready for the FE exam. Again, I'm going to get more in depth with specific tips later on as the series goes on. So if there's anything in particular that you have on your mind that you're wondering about, worried about, go ahead, feel free to ask me, drop a question in the comments or DM me on Instagram, things like that. So thank you for stopping by. Thank you for your time. I wish you all the best journey on your FE adventures. And remember, engineering is a gem.